I am DM Zone. This is Gamers Oasis. Let's get into it. Okay, guys. So you can see here, I'm over here in Toulon. I'm actually over at the Jelly Zone area, getting ready to go do a hunt for the upcoming season of crafting. Mixing in some hunts in there. But I want to talk about the new thing that StevieB said was leaked or whatever. Talking about the new tab, the recycle tab. I've heard him. I've heard another person talk about it, Donald Wilson. There's probably more. I just haven't been able to get on YouTube a whole lot today. It's real busy for me. But I kind of took what they had to say. I thought about it, and I wanted to respond from more of a free-to-play, low-depositing player type of perspective. Not only do I have similar opinions to sort of what they have, but there's some more to it. Let me pull up my notes here real quick. So, for those who don't know, there is a release, I guess, on those forums talking about they're going to be adding a new recycle tab where you take items from your inventory, you drop it in there like you're going to sell, but you hit the recycle button and it turns it into nano cubes. Nano cubes, which are right here, which are currently, 100 for one ped, are going to go away. The reason why that's important is for those of you who watch my season of crafting, you'll see that when I'm doing the EP1 that was loaned to me, I have to use nano cubes to do that. So there's a lot of blueprints out there that require that. Let me come over here real quick, and I'll just go to explosive projectile because I don't actually own this. So you have the explosive projectile right here. These are the explosive projectiles that everyone's making. You can see that they have some markup on 102%. Most of the time, they don't actually keep them. They just, sell them back. But as you can see, 29.9 thousand ped was sold today. And you come over here and you go into like ridiculous blueprints like this. The explosive projectile recycle 3, which requires a whole bunch of stuff. Requires this amount of explosive projectile and a whole bunch of Listerium. It's very, 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 very expensive. Anyways, I'm getting a little bit off topic here. So let me get to the... That's what the problem is. So I gotta type in the word blueprint. Alright, so I gotta get through the recyclers to actually get to... Here we go. Here is an EP1 blueprint. This blueprint takes 2 nano cubes to make this. Why is this TR... Oh, it's like it's actually it's a 100 quality rating. Why is this 100 quality rating blueprint 180 1 ped, 182 ped, right? Why is that? It's because people do this in large amounts. I do not have to tell you why people do that. Here's another one for no ending bed, but it's 111 and people have bid 4 times on it. So there is a demand for these things. Here's another one right here. This one here is not a bad price. It's also it's another QR100 for 150 ped. That too could be yours. All right, so you get the general idea. Where this is actually going to have the most effect, though, is on the micro economies like Toulon, on Monteria. When you come over here to Nadiri wants an apprentice, or you're doing the still wanting supplies, or still waiting on supplies on Monteria, where they do this back to back to back to back to back. Or, frankly, there are literally places out there where people feel this particular area gives a bonus, or maybe they just have really good luck here, or it just happens to be really close to other things they're doing, so they want to do this, they want to just craft here, and they'll be on for 10 hours a day just crafting and crafting and crafting. the small economies are going to have a real problem with it. Here's an area it wants to print this. I haven't done this lately, so it's available to me. Um, but yeah, places like here where people are doing this, that's what all these people over here are doing right now. We got only one over here right now. Only have two over here right now. These guys aren't here crafting basic filters unless they need to. They're probably crafting explosive projectiles. You know, the big Hoffs and all that people like to go for, all of them are done, I guess, with explosive projectile 4. That's not my game. I'm a low deposit, free-to-play type player. I'm not doing that. I'm not setting it all the way over to the conditioner quality, whatever the harder one is, so they can get the bigger boom and that type of stuff. But people do that. They do that gambling thing because that's what they want. Let me come back in here just so I can show you some more market stuff that we're going to get to in a second. So there might be some social backlash for those people that want to run the EP4. I think that's going to fade from the popular risk model because bragging about it won't be as cool because people are like, man, you're up in the price of nanocubes for everyone, you know, and who knows, maybe, or maybe the people that are hoarding it all will sell it instead of doing that because the 2.5% cost that I'm expecting it might go up by is going to be more weight than they want to carry. You know, it's going to be like those people that hoarded all the toilet paper a couple years ago. It's not going to be very cool. People aren't going to brag about it, shall we say. You know, but jokes aside, there's something to be said here. Running the EP blueprint, they're not actually keeping all that loot unless they're doing recyclers. So they're going to take that metal residue. They're going to take that explosive projectile product that maybe some people want to sell, but some people are just willing to TT back. And the shrapnel that they don't want to go sell, they're going to take those things and then sell them or recycle them to get more nanocubes. So the reality is that's why I put such a low markup on nanocubes, because those people are just going to go ahead and recycle for themselves anyways, and they'll have less need over a longer period of time than some other people. You know, people that are doing other things like the AR matrix. I'm going to go ahead and give credit to StevieB, and I'll link down below. He went into this in greater detail, talking about all the AR matrix weapons, which he probably has way more experience crafting since I've never actually crafted one of these weapons. All of them need nanocubes, and they need other things. And I'll get more into that in just a second. But these type of products are going to go up more. And if it's disproportionately affecting the weapon crafters than it is the explosive projectile crafters, we might see a bump in how much we get charged for AR matrix weapons and that type of stuff, which could push a lean or a desire to go towards unlimited weapons even more. That could be interesting as these things go. But I think it'll all settle out in the end. There will be new spots that open in the market. These are going to be made for those who are willing to try and experiment and go into this a little bit. I think that some of these new markets, if I was to predict, are going to be the Toulon, Monria market. I think that's pretty clear on that type of stuff. But some of the ones that might surprise you might be Next Island or Ancient Greece, where there's a particular niche of things that need to be done, and they now need nanocubes, and there's not people hunting those areas the same for that, or they're taking those from there to, you know, Cali for a greater trade. Arc Moon, Cyrene might be another one. Cyrene's got a little bit bigger market as far as that, but what I think it's going to do in all these areas, it's going to strengthen the local trading market where people are going to sell, buy, and trade, even if it is limited in scope, on the planet that you're on versus just straight TT and everything. And I think if they found a couple other levers like this, there could be some way to get business to start up on the planet and not have everything go to Cali Trade or to go to Cali for, the auctions, because you're going to need the animal eye oil, which has a huge amount of demand. Let me come over here real quick so I can come here and show you that animal eye oil. All right. So there's only one person right now selling it, but you can see the markup is 108% and 113% because people aren't selling animal eye oil on this planet. So what do people do? They go to Cali and they're like, okay, well, I'm not paying that markup. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to go here and I'm going to buy, as the example that Stevie used, this 100.37%, that's slightly over 33%, third of a percent. And then I'm going to pay 2 ped to ship that to Toulon, and then I will be good. Or I'll come down here and buy this for 101 and do the same thing. It's a little bit more reasonable size purchase. And then 2 ped just doesn't matter, or whatever it might be for the slowest amount of travel. Or I'll buy it and then fly it here. It's going to make markets like what we have here on Toulon, where people are like, all right, well, this is a little high, but we have a lot more demand because now animal eye oil is 102% or 102.5% versus 100.33 or whatever percent, or 101%. So now it's worth keeping them here, even if it's just to buy it and then turn it into a nanocube. But, over here on orders, you're going to be able to have people literally selling to nanocube brokers, probably. Could be actually a new whole thing that people get into. And then, your people who need nanocubes for the explosive projectile run won't go to a trade person like the trade terminal. They'll just come over here to this. Another thing that has super high demand, but then has no resale value at all. Let me come here to animal muscle oil, for example. And, he kind of poo-poos on this idea. But when you get into the smaller markets, these actually have a little bit of a value. Now, let's come over here, look at how much animal muscle oil actually sells. So today, 8.6 thousand ped sold. This week, almost 60,000 ped sold. If all this is being turned into nanocubes on Cali, because there's no markup, as you can see here, there's very little markup, even though there's 12 pages of it. I'm at this into the second page and I'm at 102%. So if there's no markup for this, because it's all going to nanocubes, which will probably have a greater chance of returning than trying to sell 20,000 animal muscle oil for 101%. You know what I'm saying? Making your very slight amount of increase. What is that, like 12, or is that 6 ped on your returns? That's not much. So that's going to increase the markup on animal muscle oil, and that's interesting too. So that's what my prediction is, that things like that are going to go up, that people are going to stop TTing it, because you can see there's 12 pages here, but there is way more, guarantee you there's way more of this being harvested than there are being sold on there, because there's just horrible markup. What is the best markup you could possibly get? If you were to sell a batch of 38, you get a pretty good markup, but that's just probably pipe dreams. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe they're getting 144%, but even that 144% of 2 ped is not a whole lot. That's probably just to cover the cost of the auction fee. So you're going to have a lot of these people with low bids, they're going to, or with low amounts that just want to try and make something. A lot of new players that have a stack they finally built up of like 5 pet or something, and they're going to try and sell it. They're going to turn their 5 stacks that are like 3 pet into 1 stack of nano cubes and then sell it to an order because everyone's going to want to do that. This is going to help new players a lot more, and it's going to hurt non-EP crafters probably more, like the low level ones. I'm not talking about the EP4 guys. Those guys are still those guys. But everyone else probably won't hurt them as much. In politics or economics, those worlds, they kind of talk about levers being flipped, and sometimes you flip a lever and you don't know the consequences of that lever being flipped. I feel like that's what this is. The market's going to go probably a little crazy. Some things are going to be a little high. Some stuff might be worth selling because there's going to be some shortages and that type of stuff. But I think given 6 months or so or less, it's going to stabilize itself. And the people that won during that period of time or lost during that period of time will probably make their money back over a little bit of time as the markets kind of stabilize. But like I was saying, new players are going to have the ability to take 20 stacks of random odd stuff they can have, recycle it to get 1 stack they can sell. This is not good. That's not just good, for a new player. This is also great for MindArk. Now MindArk doesn't have, we'll say 4,000 new players, all with 20 stacks. They have 4,000 new players that convert their 20 stacks into 1 stack and then sell it to an order who then gets put into 1 stack on 1 character. And memory-wise, that has to be way easier on their processors and storage devices and that type of stuff. This also would be a great way for MindArk to get new players into other things or continue further into things because they're going to have that money. Mind you, I believe a lot of MindArk's money is made off of new players who don't necessarily know what they're doing or using the wrong weapons, or weapons are not as efficient or have the armor to be able to hunt the right things and this type of stuff, or hunt things with markup. It's going to get them back in there because when you're a new player and you want to go mine, what's the thing you're going to find? The same thing everyone else finds. So you're going to get your Listerine, you're going to get your oil, you're going to get what you need, and they're going to have extra. You take the extra, you go turn it into nano cubes, you sell it, you make your money, you can go back out and do stuff with it because it's converted into something. And you felt like you did something because you sold it. You didn't sell it just to TT, you actually made something back on it. And there's 0 risk for it because there's probably a standing order for it. And that's something that's going to be pretty interesting too. So I don't want to necessarily suggest, like everyone else, to deposit money, go buy nano cubes, Sedine, that type of stuff. I don't want people selling their deeds or whatever thinking they're going to get a higher return on nano cubes and that type of stuff. I think that would be foolish thinking and sort of way more ambitious than this project probably will actually see for most people. But before you log off at the end of the day, would it be worth buying whatever you have left in PED and put it into nano cubes and just let it sit there? Probably not. Maybe you make a couple PED back, maybe you won't. If the market isn't good and you don't want to buy a deed because you don't like the price of something, maybe it would be worth it. Maybe you're going to predict what it is, and instead of selling all of your ammo muscle oil, you're just going to save it. And that will be what it is. I don't know what that's going to be for you or whatnot, but this is where the chaos of the market is going to play out. When you look at things like Simple One plastic springs. Okay, so let's go to the actual product. So it has 108% 110% markup. Okay. What's needed to make it? Oh, let me come back to this something real quick before I go to this. I'll pin this so I can come back to it. Notice that there's 1.5K sold today. That there is 16K sold for the week. The year is over 600K. This is just one blueprint type of thing. But look what it's required to make it. 14 animal eye oil and 7 animal muscle oil. BPs like this are going to be harder to run moving forward because they're going to cost maybe 2.5% more. So your margin of success is going to go down by 2.5%, which is going to make it maybe not profitable for you. You know, I consider doing this, but I don't know, you know, and that's something to really think about. Anyways, if you want to see more videos like this, please like and subscribe. I'm going to have a vlog come out on the next Saturday or the first Saturday of the month, and in that one I'm going to probably recap what we've learned about this, and we'll go from there. If there's anything I've missed or anything you feel like I need to go back into and unpack maybe more, or if I need to explain my point a little better, just put something down below and I'll be sure to respond to you. And if it needs a video to explain it, I'll go ahead and do that. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Keep her in that bed and see you guys in the next one.